One of the topics I try my hardest to keep out of my podcast has been politics. I've cut more political content out of our recordings than just about any other kind of big O opinion, and I'm sure we've let some small ones slip in at some point or other. Of course, as an American, my country has a lot going on, politically speaking, at any given time. The topic has been a divisive quagmire for as long as I've been old enough to understand the concept. Still, this is where my opinions go to sit on display for whatever passerby care to inspect them, so let's dive in. Les le bon temps roulette. So let me start by saying a lot of my thoughts on politics have been influenced over the years by the people closest to me. Through my adult life, I've always made an effort not to allow political positions to dictate my relationships, so those people have represented a broad sampling of positions on every conceivable topic. Some of my friends and loved ones might even be considered to have controversial or extreme views. That having been said, the common advice I get from all these lovely people is that I should think for myself and do my own research. To my great frustration, things like a quick Google search or checking a Wikipedia page is almost never adequate research, especially when I come out the other side disagreeing. No, instead I've found think for yourself actually means think like me for yourself, and do your own research can be roughly translated as read this one particular book, article, social media post by a source I find especially compelling. It can be frustrating to get this advice from people who know are otherwise honest, thoughtful, and insightful people. It seems to me that political debate and discourse has devolved, although when this happened I couldn't say for sure. Internet shouting matches and IRL protests, each conducted with their own megaphones, often inside mutually exclusive bubbles, with no more than a token attempt by any one group to properly understand another. And I get it. Humans need a tribe, a group to provide identity, solidarity, security, and function. People gravitate more naturally toward those with whom they have the most in common. Isn't life difficult enough without surrounding oneself with people who, at best, are going to spend an inordinate amount of energy trying to convince you that your deeply held beliefs are wrong, and at worst, may treat you with active hostility? Plenty of intellectuals pay lip service to the notion of having constructive conversations with opposing viewpoints. But how many of them are listening when their opposition starts talking? Trying to understand each other gets lost behind layers of people trying to push their own perspective into the spotlight. Here's the world as I see it, and you should too. Of course, I'm doing the same thing right now. Try to push my own views on an audience that can only type their responses after the fact. However, I want to read those responses. I want to know what you think. I'll make it known now that on principle, I don't like or trust anyone in political office higher up than a mayor. And damn few of those. It seems to me the process of gathering power and influence comes with a cost. And the kind of person willing to pay that price for political gain is the exact kind of person that should never be allowed to have any kind of authority in the first place. I have seen firsthand what even a little power can do to a person. Power corrupts is such a pithy little quote and fails to tell the story. Power doesn't just corrupt, it infects. It worms its way into every crack and crevice, exploits every weakness, amplifies every vice. The easier it is to take what you want, the harder it is not to take it. I've said before that humans are fundamentally awesome. I'm a big fan of the species as a whole, but politics isn't a fair test for anyone. I don't see a way to get rid of it though. I think we have all watched this play out, in every corner of the world. Competing and contradictory interests, tearing at each other by fighting it out in the halls of power and the court of public opinion, hidden behind distractions and disinformation, become more powerful with every passing year. So what can I contribute? Here's what I think. The more certain someone is that they have all the answers, the less I trust their solutions. The more time someone spends debating their pet topics without changing their position, the less I trust their self-awareness. The more someone gets angry when someone disagrees with them, the less I trust their intelligence. The more someone has to gain by arguing their position, the less I trust their integrity. And the more power someone comes to possess, the less I trust them at all.